हेलो। आवाज आ रही है? अच्छा अच्छा चलो, माइक दिखा रहा। 80, 84। चलो भाई, 82 अटेंडी और 2 पैनलिस्ट। यहाँ नॉट ऑलरेडी बचे हैं। हम्म, क्या किया था इसमें यार? मैं अभी शुरू किया था इसे। कल कोई है? Everyone, there were some connectivity issues. We are just trying to resolve. Please give 2 minutes. If not, we'll try to reschedule. So everyone, I would request you, if you have your friends who have left or who cannot log in because the session had ended due to some of the issues, the host rights were transferred to one of our students by mistake, and it was unfortunate we could not get through the problem for a long time. But I hope the event was ended and event has been restarted, and that is how we can see it now. I hope I'm clear to all of you now. Yes, I hope I am clear to all of you. We'll still, we'll not take the whole session, but we'll still take some of the questions, because some of you who have patiently waited, let's of course solve some of the questions. Let's see some of the ideas. So, what our point is that we'll discuss some of the questions, but I would still give 3-4 minutes. If you have any friend who has just logged out or has been misinformed, has not been informed about the event, he can still be back. We can still wait for 3-4 minutes. We have all the things online, and hello Arpit, it was transferred to you. Host rights were transferred to you. So I don't know, how did that happen? But that just yes, sorry. I'm sorry to all of you that these things happened, but it was unfortunate that how did this happen. We'll of course see it afterwards, but right now, for the snap test, and I will not take any introduction. We will just move on to 2011-12 questions, so that we can solve some of the questions. It was very, very unfortunate that we lost our 1 hour. No, we will not do the new questions now. We will just solve the old questions right now, because a number of participants, more than 70% of our participants have lost the connection, and that is why, it will be a problem it will be an injustice with most of our friends who came for the session and still could not attend, but still we will try to solve some of the previous year questions. Let's solve 2011 questions. And then we'll move on to 2010. Yes, thanks, Amit. It's a good idea. I just asked someone to update the info on the FB. And it's 9:04 right now. We'll start the session in another 2 minutes. Just waiting for some of your friends who can still join us. And we'll solve the old questions right now. 2011, we'll just see some of the questions that have come earlier. But right now, because we lost most of our friends, so we will solve GK questions of last year, and we'll see how the questions were there. Some of the questions are still relevant to this day. And let's start. So it's now 9:05, another 1 minute, and we are going to start the session. Yes, fine. So let's move on to, now just I wanted to say these are the 4 areas. Yes, all of you, most of you, those who want the session to get repeated, we try our level best. But the whole point is, as you all have patiently attended and we have conducted the event, so let's talk about the event first. We should discuss something. I would like you guys to take something after the session. The best thing is you have something in your mind. That will be the best present to our efforts. So my idea is, let's discuss some of the relevant things. Let's discuss some of the questions that have appeared earlier and just move on right now. And certainly we'll try to be better, we'll try to be the best by solving such issues by the next class. So let's forget all those issues. Let's move on to a new session right now, starting at 9:06. So let's discuss some of the points and just move on to some of the questions. we will not take the whole detailed question, but let's see some of the questions that have come earlier, so that at least some of our friends, those who are still sitting with us, can have an idea of the SNAP. So let's not, of course I apologize again that we lost a lot of time, we lost the crucial part of the time, and many of the students who had, they were in big numbers, we had lost more than 70% participants now, so it has been a bit unfortunate because of the connectivity issues. Well, fine. GK and SNAP, I would still say go for these areas. Sports, in sports they generally ask questions. For general, as I will just tell you in the next classes that which are the areas and which are the questions that could be in this general area. Then of course policies, economy and sports. These are the main areas I have seen they have been asking from since last 3-4 years. And now broadly questions can be classified in the following areas. Current affairs, general awareness, issues of common concern, not of social concern, issues of common concern, and major international issues. So just have a view of this. In the next class we will take the details again we will take every bit and corner, we will discuss every nut and bolt again from the next class. So just do not worry about that. Just have an idea. My idea is SNAP is more of a general paper. Like IIFT, which was focused more on foreign trade, and it had some of the static areas. Rather, SNAP is totally it's a complete paper of current affairs. It doesn't have those static areas of earlier times or Indian national movement or maybe polity. It just have questions. Most of the questions out of 38, 39 questions are from current affairs. And I tell you again, last year, if you see the cutoffs in the last year, and I have one of the students who was actually very successful with the help of GK. In IIFT, in IRMA, there is still lesser scope of gaining more marks in GK. In SNAP, it is highest. Last year, around 1995 was the cutoff for the best college. Of course, SIBM, for SIBM it was the best college, and 1995 was the cutoff. And most of the students who qualified had the marks around 10 or 11 in GK. 10 or 11. Would you believe that out of 40, they could score only 10 or 11 in GK. And cutoff was around, of course, 9, 8, 9 was the cutoff, and 10, 11 was the score most of the students got in GK. One of the students from our batch got around 24 in GK, and his marks had shot up to 99. Only because of GK, he was very, very thankful that he could get through the cutoff of SIBM. And I tell you, in this paper, in SNAP, there is a very wide margin for scoring higher marks. Because if you see the overall cutoff is 1995, and if you are able to score 1/4 in GK, that is more than enough, because despite the cutoff is more than 50%, out of 180, cutoff is 1995, that is around 53%. But in GK, it's only around 8 to 9 out of 40, that is only around 20%. GK is far low in SNAP than in other papers. So my idea is, in SNAP, there is a wider scope of clearing the cutoff with the help of GK. You can, in my opinion, the paper last year was good enough to score, very easy enough to score 15. I was really, it was really a treat to my eyes, and of course, 8, 9 marks, most of the students, that was very heartening to see, because a number of questions have been from different question papers, and I repeat again that very, very important in SNAP, there is a wide scope of covering the areas. Wide scope of covering the marks. 8, 9 marks, 8, 9 marks के आसपास question जाता है, cut off, and you can easily score 15, 16. 15, 16 is not very difficult to score. And I tell you, in last year paper, there were 9 questions which were directly from civil services paper. So I expect again that this year again there will be a number of questions directly from civil services paper that have come this year. Of course, that I have to show some of the questions today, but certainly I will show some of the questions tomorrow, and of course in the next classes. So just do not worry about that. We have picked many questions. There were 100 general studies questions in the civil services paper, and we have picked around 22 questions from that paper, which are most likely to come. So it will be very, very helpful for you, because from the last year's experience, we know these questions are directly from the paper. And not just civil services paper, there had been some other government services also from where the question had directly come. So overall 30% of the paper, I can assume out of 40 questions from many other papers, civil services, then there is this paper, CPF paper, Central Police Forces. So, these papers are the ones from where directly the questions had come. So we will give you the direct questions, certainly, from these areas. But right now, what we are going to do is, we are just going to read some of the questions that had appeared last year. So my idea is just to prime your mind today. Well, earlier it was that we will solve these questions for first 1.5 hours, and then we will move on to the fresh questions. But now, as we have lost some of the time, we will see some of the questions so that you can be primed up, and we will certainly give you more questions now. We will certainly try to organize one more session, and we will give you more questions so that you are certainly satisfied with the efforts. And well, of course, we move on ahead. So just have a look at the questions. 40 marks always, 160, 40, so 25% of the marks are from GK, and I tell you 25% है. लेकिन cutoff का अगर आप देखो, if you take the cutoff tally, it is just less than 15% of the total paper. 95 cutoff for SIBM. For the total cutoff, it was 95, and in GK, 8, 9 marks, 10 marks only. So I tell you only 10% marks for GK in the whole section. So there is still scope of 15% marks coverage. If somebody is able to score 16 or 18 marks out of 40, he will certainly get plus 8 marks from most of the students. And I tell you, the questions are not from static areas. Most of the questions are very, very from the general areas that have happened since last 6 to 8 months. So general areas very, very much into current affairs. Most of them are single liners. Even in IRMA and IFT, some questions may take 25-30 seconds. Here there will be very, very few questions which will take 25-30 seconds. Well, the question from civil services area will certainly take 30 seconds, 35 seconds. Those are lengthy in number. You can see some of the samples that I will show you in the slides coming forward. So SNAP 2011, a revision. We will see, let's revise questions from 2011 and 10 today, and we will move on to the questions, tomorrow. Or of course day after tomorrow. So let's start the question. So question number 1. Swayam Siddh is a scheme launched by the Government of India to help. Yes, let's all of us answer. जिसका भी सीरियल छूट रहा है परेशान मत हो, सीरियल जरूर दिख जाएगा. सैटरडे को दोपहर में वापस आते हैं सीरियल. So just do not worry, हम लोग सब लोग बैठ के देख लेंगे. Yes. Yes, a number of answers are coming. Very, very good. Come on. I invite all of you to participate. Last year question. Now, of course, may not be repeated right now. But what is Swayam Siddh? And I asked you what is one more question. There was also one more scheme by government which is called Swavlamban. What is Swayam Siddh and Swavlamban? Swayam Siddh. Swayam Siddh is for women only. The correct answer is for women only. What is Swayam Siddh? Now this was a scheme launched in 2011 for the women. It was started in Haryana in the 13 districts. Now it has been extended to many of the areas. So Swayam Siddh, this is for women to prove themselves. They are offered training in various areas. And then Swavlamban is pension scheme for the unorganized sector. It is a pension scheme for the unorganized sector. In India, unorganized sector has faced disorganization problems. So this is about Swavlamban is about the pension scheme for the unorganized sector. Question number 2. What is share swap? What is share swap? A business takeover in which acquiring company uses its own stock to pay for the acquired company, when a company uses its own share to get some short-term loan for working capital requirement, when companies are required to float a new issue to earn capital for the expansion programs, each shareholder gets some additional preferential shares. The process is known as share swap. So option is only A, B, C, none of the above. Yes, a lot of you are participating. Very good. Very good. Yes. Now, it is what? Share swap by the name. It is the exchange of shares. It is the exchange of stocks. So what is that stock? So, by this we can directly understand what is it. Now, option B, let's take option B. When a company uses its own shares to get some short-term loan for working capital requirement. So now loans are not shares or stocks. So these generally don't come in it. So loans will not be exchanged for the equities. Then when companies are required to float a new issue to earn capital. Now again, this is also related to IPO and FPO. Certainly not related to bond. It is only part A, in which acquiring company uses its own stock to pay for the acquired company. So, it is a question from a static area last year. So just be aware of this point. Now, some of you, those who just do not understand these areas, need not worry, but I hope you must be listening the news. Now, why share swap was asked last year? It was very much in the news last year because of a share swap in many of the companies which had started to buy its own stock, to pay for its own stock from the acquired company. It has happened in many big Indian companies like last year. So what happened? This share swap was very much in the news, and that is why it came in the paper also. So a direct question from UPSC paper. Direct question from UPSC 2011. Civil Services. Regarding carbon credits, which of the following statement is not correct? Read and answer. Read and answer. Carbon credit system was ratified in conjunction with Kyoto Protocol. This is correct. Carbon credits are awarded to those countries or groups who have reduced the greenhouse gases below their emission quota. Correct. The goal of carbon credit system is to reduce carbon dioxide emission. Absolutely correct. Carbon credits are traded as a price fixed from time to time by UNEP. Now, one of you must understand that carbon trading is very much into the stocks right now. They are behaving like stock options in many of the stock exchanges. So carbon credit, if you remember, carbon trading is going on. So if trading is going on, its time will be fixed by UNEP, or its price will change with time. Its price will change with time. Every day it changes. Every minute it changes. So that is why this option is wrong. It is not fixed by UNEP. It is rather traded. So I hope things are clear to you. Again, question directly from UPSC. Both FDI and FII are related to investment in a country. Which one of the following statements best represents an important difference between the two? Now it is a sensible question. We will solve many such questions in the next class also. Just do not worry. We will solve such economics questions which was in the news recently. Yes, all of you, come on. Jaldi answer karo. Most of you are sitting idly. और ब्रैकेट में गेस तो लिख दिया करो जो भी गेस कर रहे हो. Remember, there can be many correct answers, but point is best represents. Now, FII brings better management skills and technology while FDI only brings capital. Well, of course, this is not true. This is false. This is not even true. It is reversed. FDI brings the management skills and technology, and FII helps in bringing capital. So, what about option number 4? FII is considered to be more stable than FDI. No. FII comes in the stock market. Here the people are interested in their profits in the stocks and they run as the stock starts falling. It is more unstable rather. FII is unstable than FDI. So one must be aware of this, that it is unstable than FDI. Option C, FDI flows only into secondary markets while FII targets primary markets. Rather, it is reversed. FII may target primary or secondary market both, but FDI is very, very different in its meaning. The correct answer is option B. The correct answer is option B. FDI flows into, FII helps in increasing capital availability in general, and FDI targets specific sectors. I hope the idea is clear to you. Let's move to question number 5. Now again a direct question from UPSC paper. A direct question from UPSC paper. What is the correct answer? What is the correct option? In the context of global oil crisis, Brent crude oil is frequently referred to in the news. What does this term imply? Yes, come on, a lot of you are giving the answer. यूपीएससी से डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन है, ध्यान रखो इस तरह के क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली यूपीएससी से है. इस तरह इसलिए बिल्कुल परेशान मत हो कि इतना ज्यादा डिटेल नॉलेज कैसे पढ़ेंगे. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गेट सम डिटेल नॉलेज ऑफ सच एरियाज. Yes, come on. It is a major classification of crude oil. Well, correct. Brent crude is sourced from North Sea. Correct. So 1 and 2 is correct. So we have A and D option as wrong. A and C option. We have B and D. So which one could be the possible answer? Now it does not contain sulfur. It contains a very small amount of sulfur. So that is, it contains some small amount of sulfur. So 1 and 2 are correct. There a question from UPSC. Brent crude, remember, Brent crude price is given in the daily oil prices that we see. Brent crude price is given. जो हम लोग दिन में oil prices देखते हैं, it is actually the price of Brent crude oil. It is one of the best quality. Now question number 6. Again a direct question from UPSC. Use your sense. This can be done by using your senses. With reference to Loki's policy, India wants to re-establish itself as an important regional player in East Asian affairs. India wants to plug the vacuum created by termination of Cold War. India wants to restore historical and cultural ties with neighbors in... Now just use your sense. I tell you again, for the first option, India wants to re-establish itself as an important regional player in the East Asian affairs. No doubt about this. India actually wants to reassert itself as a regional player. Now India wants to plug the vacuum created by the termination of Cold War. The termination of Cold War, there is nothing to be, if we want to plug a vacuum created by Cold War, then we'll have to be a global power rather than a regional power. And India is far from going towards that direction because there are many strong economies and many other strong nations eyeing for that area. So rather, it's not creating as not filling as a vacuum. So certainly, second is wrong. This is more of an aggressive policy. Second option, which certainly India doesn't follow. India wants to restore the historical and cultural ties with its neighbors in Southeast East Asia. And when it is true because one of the best places, one of the largest places of Hindu worship are still, Hindu and Buddhist worship are still in the Southeast Asia. Can you name the most famous temple of Southeast Asia? Can you name the most famous temple of Southeast Asia which is famous around the world? Yes, very correct. Some of them are answering. Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Very correct. So, it was King Shalayan in around 9th or 10th century BC. He was a very good follower of Buddhism and he had spread Buddhism in many of the areas in Southeast Asia. So, Southeast Asia has many such temples and has historical ties with India. So, certainly, third is a soft factor. India pursues that. Then, first is India's realistic ambition and this is aggressive ambition which certainly India doesn't pursue. Correct answer is B, 1 and 3. Question number 7. Recently oil zapper was in news. What is it? What is oil zapper? Now some of you are asking about Loki's policy. Loki's policy was devised by India to increase its trade with Southeast Asian countries and the East Asian countries. Now point was, earlier Indian establishment was more focused on the West. It was focused on Europe and US. Our trade with Southeast Asia and Asia was very minimal. So what India tried was that we should not miss this area as this area has a very big resource potential and has a very big raw material area. So the point was to extend in this area. So India tried a new policy called Loki's policy and that is, it has helped a lot. It has helped India a lot. And recently, okay, I'll move back to that question again. Yes, India is not a member of ASEAN, but today, in these, okay, Arpit, for that question, we can talk as we end the session. Well, it's more of an analysis rather than an objectivity. And recently, oil zapper was in news. What is it? Now this was used in where? It was used after Mexico oil spill. It was used after Mexico oil spill. It was used after Mexico oil spill. There was large amount of oil wasted in the Florida area, in the Gulf of Florida, and then oil zappers were used for oil sludging. Then again, another UPSC question. Direct question, straight from UPSC. To copy by copy. So what is offering of diesel loans by commercial banks cause economic concern? Why is it a cause of concern? Read the question and tell the answer. Why is it a cause of concern? A, B, C, D. क्या होना चाहिए? First point is, now I tell you what is a teaser loan. What is a teaser loan? Teaser loan, when many people who doesn't have enough money to buy homes, when they go and apply for loans, there are certain criteria which they have to fulfill before getting the loan. So what companies started to do, that they started to normalize these soften these norms. So what they used to do was they started to offer loans at a low interest rate to most of the customers. And what the condition was that with the market, the interest rate may change. So what happened to many of the person was that they took the loan at low interest. But when the interest rates increased, what happened? They were unable to return the money. So what happens with the teaser loan is, by the name it's clear, it is just to tease. So overall point is, when people go for teaser loan, they are actually teased by the loan by low interest rate at the beginning, but soon they realize that they have to pay a lot of money from their pocket, and that is why it has been a concern, because a number of people actually resulted in non-payment, and which resulted in very famous subprime financial crisis also. Subprime financial crisis, of course, was related to teaser loan to some extent. Of course, teaser loan are in existence since hundreds of years, but there are many other reasons which combine with teaser loan to give them. So certainly option 1 is correct. Correct answer is option A. Next question. Why is Government of India disinvesting its equity in the central public sector enterprises? Why is Government of India disinvesting its equity in the central public sector enterprises? Now, if you know the current policies from the government, you may easily get this. It's to use revenue earned from this. What is this investment? It is selling of our share in the company. Like suppose you have a company in which you own 80%. You need money to pay your loans. What you may do? You may sell 20% of the company. So that is this investment. Investment is putting our money in the company. And this investment is taking our money back from the company. So what happened is Indian government has done many disinvestments to get money, so to pay external debt. And of course, second option is not correct with that. So correct answer is 9A. The book Unto His Last, which influenced Gandhiji, was authored by. The book Unto His Last, which influenced Gandhiji, was authored by. I know many of you just try to be clear, is it this or is it this? I know many of you may get confused because this name is common and this is the correct answer. So there is a difference. John Ruskin. Okay. Now, the first 9 questions that we saw were mostly from the UPSC. 6 of them were from UPSC. And now we will see some of the questions that are direct, straight questions. Just read them, you know it or you don't know it. अभी तक कुछ questions ऐसे थे जो repeated थे कई areas पे, and they had some of the significance also because you can use some of your reasoning power. But now let's move on further. Besides USA, India has signed with which of the following countries the agreement aimed at common agreement on the development of peaceful uses of nuclear energy? Now many countries have come in, but at that time there were only 2. France was the first company at that time which actually entered the market. France was one of the first companies to enter Indian markets, nuclear markets. Under Nicolas Sarkozy, India-French relations established and reached new high. Germany, certainly not Germany. Germans are very, very aware. Rather, Germany is the country which has declared that they will try to be to end nuclear programs by 2030. They will try to be nuclear energy free. Correct answer is France. Question number 12. Which of the following country is not a member of Nuclear Suppliers Group? Very easy question. Very easy question. Which country is not a member of Nuclear Suppliers Group? Yes, all of you are giving the answer. I give you 10 more seconds to the people who have not answered this question. Come on. It is very, very easy. Okay, can you name one country from the Middle East which is a member of energy? Okay, correct answer is Iran. Certainly the correct answer is Iran. One country from Middle East which is a member of energy. Yes, a lot of you are giving the answer. The correct answer is Turkey. There is one country, Turkey, with only Middle East country to be a member of energy. Okay, then again, if you want to calculate, Kazakhstan is also the one, but it's certainly not in Middle East. And can you name other Asian countries which are the member of energy? There are only few Asian countries. There are only few Asian countries which are a member of energy. India is not the one. South Korea, China and Japan. South Korea, China and Japan. And yes, Kazakhstan is also there because of the uranium reserves. It has big uranium reserves. That is why Kazakhstan is also there. India, India is not the one. China, Japan and Korea. South Korea. Question number 13. What is FCCB? What is FCCB? These are the questions from last year's paper. So this question is still relevant, but last year many FCCBs were used. So that is why it was in the use. FCCB. Foreign Currency Convertible Bond, Foreign Convertible Credit Bond, Financial Consortium and Credit Bureau. Yes, correct answer is FCCB. Correct answer is FCCB, Foreign Currency Convertible Bonds. Yes, easy question. Let's move on to next one. As per the reports published in various newspapers, RBI has asked banks to make plans to provide banking services in village having population of 2,000. The directive issued by RBI will fall in which of the following categories? Again, easy question. जो लोग नहीं दे पा रहे हो दिमाग लगाओ थोड़ा सोचो क्यों easy बोल रहे हैं? What is it when you are giving banking services to the people, even of the village which has more than 2,000 people? What is it? Is it extension of internet? Is it extension of priority lending sector? Correct answer is financial inclusion. India wants, it is called financial inclusion, cyber inclusion. Earlier it was 40 years back, it was education inclusion, literacy inclusion. So people were educated. Now government wants people to be financially educated. Soon there will be cyber inclusion. And many of the people are still not connected to internet and computer world. And you know the importance of computer world. Today we are organizing a class on computer. Some years back this was thought as a dream. So today, as these things are for inclusion of the poor people. So people who are illiterate in cyber, so they are called cyber literate. They may be included sometime further. So just be aware of these things. उस क्वेश्चन में दिमाग लगाओ और देखो आंसर आ सकता है. प्रायोरिटी लेंडिंग सेक्टर में क्यों सिर्फ 2,000? If I suppose I say this is a population of the village population is just about 2,000, but it has many rich people. Suppose it's a very small village in Punjab where a number of villages are very very rich. So will this be a financial inclusion for them? They already have a lot of money. So financial when it comes to general 2,000, priority lending sector, why is it not a priority lending sector? Because this can be to the rich people also. Now priority lending sector is Government of India says that banks should lend some of their capital to the sectors which are in need of money and which are devoid of capital from the other resources. Agriculture, insurance in the rural areas, generally small scale industries. So many of these sectors come in the priority lending. Indian government has categorized some of the areas, some of the sectors as priority sectors. So that is how every government bank has to lend up to 40% of their capital to the priority sector. And even it is for the foreign banks recently. If you remember in the IFT class I had asked you this question. The banks, those who have more than 20 branches all over India, will now have to follow the same rule as the rule followed by priority lending sector by the public banks. So now foreign banks have also covered in this. Earlier only public and private banks were there, and now foreign banks have also covered. So Citibank and HSBC, then Deutsche Bank, these are the primary banks which have now come under priority sector lending category. Okay, fine. So we move on to question number 15. Which of the following is not treated as artificial currency? ADR, GDR, ADR, GDR, SDR. What is ADR? ADR is American Depository Receipts. GDR is Global Depository Receipts. SDR is Special Drawing Rights. This is called artificial currency. SDR is the currency of IMF. So point is, when a country needs a quota in IMF, they deposit money and get SDR. SDR is Special Drawing Rights. In the time of need, they can withdraw also. So suppose if you are joining IMF tomorrow, you can pay money and you can buy rights there which are Special Drawing Rights. So countries contribute to IMF and are issued SDR. Generally, SDR's value is around $1.47. I'm not exact current, but it is around $1.5. And ADR and GDR. ADR is American Depository Receipts. When a company in America wants to list outside America, what they do? So they issue American Depository Rights. Suppose they want to list in Bombay Stock Exchange. If you want to invest in Indian American company, which is now being listed in Bombay Stock Exchange. So you will not buy stock. The other name of this foreign stocks of this company will be American Depository Receipts. If it is by a American company, and if it is by a rest of the world company, suppose an Indian company is going to be listed in New York Stock Exchange. For example, Infosys was listed. So when Infosys was listed, it started to offer Global Depository Receipts. So what they will do for the foreign investor, they will offer ADR and GDR. American companies offer ADR and rest of the world they offer GDR. Now, a question, how exchange rate is calculated for SDR? No, it's a very long formula. Exactly, I don't even remember the whole formula. You'll have to read the whole exchange rate, But it is being pegged against dollar and it is being calculated on that point. But it's not the point of our concern. It's just, which of the following terms indicates a mechanism used by commercial banks to provide credit to the government? Which of the following terms indicate a mechanism used by commercial banks to provide credit to the government? Easy है, ज़्यादा दिमाग मत लगाओ, सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है. Credit to the government, cash reserve ratio, debt service obligation, liquidity, adjustment facility. Yes, come on. I'll give you more time. 30 more seconds to answer. What is it? What is cash reserve ratio? Cash reserve ratio is, it is sent to the banks to keep some of the money as saved. In the times of financial emergency, it will be used. So that is cash credit ratio. No, of course, cash reserve ratio. Now this is cash credit ratio. So what is LAS? LAS is a monetary policy tool which allows banks to borrow money from repurchase agreement. Now, liquidity adjustment facility is sometime when the banks have limited liquidity, so what they do, they go into agreement with the central banks to further liquidity adjustment. They suppose they need some of the money, so they may borrow or they may return it back to the central government. So it doesn't provide credit to the government. Debt service obligation. What is debt service obligation? So debt service obligation is by a bank to the government to complete its debt services. Suppose it has borrowed some money from the foreign government. So what they do in order to return the money? So some of the maybe corporations, the government, or maybe private households offer money to the government and they pay back to the foreign creditors. And this is SLR. SLR is around 24% right now. By this obligation, it is very important for commercial banks to buy government stocks and invest in the company. It may be close to 24%. I am not exactly sure it is 24 right now. So my point is, what the four options are. In this, you must know what all these things are. From economics, remember some of the areas. You will see some of the questions, fresh questions. There are many more questions which we have ready for you. You will certainly learn that in the next classes. Now, debt service obligation, नाम से ही क्लियर रखना, डेट को वापस करने के लिए लिक्विड एडजस्टमेंट फैसिलिटी कभी कम ज्यादा हो जाए तो उसको बराबर करने के लिए कैशरी लिक्विडिटी रेशियो, इतनी लिक्विडिटी जरूरी है गवर्नमेंट को देने के लिए. Some of the answers are coming that it has been up to 23%. So correct answer is 23% right now. It is SLR is 23%. Let's move on to the next question. Who among the following was not a part of the drafting committee of Lokpal Bill? Direct question, Kiran Bedi, mark करो, आगे बढ़ो. Criminal procedure is a subject of which of the following? Yes, PPT will be given. PPT will be on the website. The previous question answer is Kiran Bedi. Criminal procedure is a subject of which of the following list? It is both in state and union. It is from the concurrent list. I will tell many of such areas which are in concurrent list and in union list, in state list. In the next class we will discuss. Just do not worry about this. We will discuss all the three lists. I will give you the data of major things that are in state list, in concurrent list and union list. So just remember, criminal procedure is in concurrent list. One of the world's biggest uranium resources was recently found in India. One of the largest uranium resources was found in which of these states? The place is called Tamlapalli in Andhra Pradesh. Tamlapalli, Andhra Pradesh is the correct answer. So when this was last year's news, so just do not worry. ऐसे कई पार्ट्स होंगे जहां पे हम मिस करते रहेंगे. Which of the following was the first venture of Kishore Biyani? Which of the following was the first venture of Kishore Biyani? Yes. No, this question was a bit weird because most of these were very, very close. Then the correct answer is actually pantaloons, but things are very, very close. Yes. And yes, I used last year questions will be discussed today. Today we will not discuss fresh questions because of the time issue. So we will be going only through the last year's question. Who in the following is often referred to as father of India's green revolution? आंसर इजी है. किसी को दिक्कत है तो दिक्कत उसके अंदर है. इसमें आंसर दे दूंगा. मनमोहन सिंह भी कोई आंसर दे सकता है. Who among the following director who was the director of PP Live? Yes, easy. अनुषा देवी. कई लोग किरण राव सोच रहे होंगे किरण राव नहीं थी, वो खाली घूमती रहती है उसके साथ, कुछ नहीं करती है. Okay, fine. Dhobhi Raj, yes, correct. The point at which solid, liquid and gas forms of a substance coexist. What is it? Sublimation, distillation, melting. Sublimation, solid to gaseous direct. Distillation point. What is distillation? Liquid to gaseous to liquid. Melting point. Liquid to solid to liquid. And triple point. LGS. For example, above the ocean near North Pole and South Pole, ice, water and water vapor, all the three exist together. Question number 24. The limit beyond which the star suffers internal collapse is called. The limit beyond which. Easy question again. Chandrasekhar limit. सीधा answer. सही मारो, आगे बढ़ो. Just do not worry about this. Don't try to find logic in this. सीधा आंसर होता है, क्लिक करो, आगे बढ़ो. UNDP reports publishes every year the HDI. Which of the following is not the criteria used to measure HDI? Again easy. So just imagine these questions were there last year and cutoff was 8-9. Cutoff was 8-9 after 40 such questions. I hope most of you must have answered 6-7 if you have good GK preparation, even decent GK preparation. Yes, it is 1 mark per question. These are from the last year. All the 25 I have asked so far are from Snap GK 2011. Read here. These are from Snap GK 2011. Okay. So correct answer is human rights, of course. Of course, it's the incorrect part. The software company iFlex Solution was originally a division of which famous financial services company? It was part of which company? It was in the news last year. I know some of you may not be knowing it right now, but it was in the news last year. iFlex. Yes. 15 seconds for more your answers. तुक्के वालों आंसर दो, तुक्का मत दो. The correct answer is City Corp. The correct answer is City Corp. And right now it is with Oracle. Which of the following is not a member of SAARC? SAARC में कौन नहीं है? Our neighbor, of course, all of them are our neighbor. Yes. Burma. What is the capital of Burma? What is the capital of Burma? The correct answer is Naypyidaw. कल कई लोग रंगून यंगून जो बोल रहे हैं, its name has been, the place has been changed. Now the capital is Naypyidaw. It is the interior part. Rangoon was on the port. Which article of the Indian Constitution recognizes Hindi in Devanagari script as the official language of India? Which is the article? Correct is 343. Now question is pure fact. इसमें दिमाग लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. आता है तो करो, नहीं तो मत करो. Yes. Here's a question from Ajit. How to remember these numbers? Well, Ajit, do not worry. In the next classes, we will discuss some of the major articles. We will have some of the major articles that generally come in the examinations. So we will not have to go through all the 400 articles. Rather, we will sublime it to 2025 only. Seeing the questions, we will just do that. Yes, India has finally woken up to the needs of the country's elderly, with the number of people in 60 plus age group in India expected to increase to 100 million in 2013 and to 198 million in 2030. The Health Ministry is set to roll out what? So, purely factual, क्योंकि चारों नाम लग रहे हैं ऐसा हो सकता है, बट द पॉइंट इज जिसको आता है वही कर पाएगा. पॉइंट इज फैक्ट आता है तो चारों आंसर लग रहे होंगे कि हो सकते हैं. इसलिए डू नॉट ट्राई टू यूज योर एक्स्ट्रा ब्रेन. ज्यादा दिमाग मत लगाओ. कई लोगों का सीरियल शुरू होने वाला होगा, परेशान मत हो. मुझे पता है सीरियल शुरू होने वाला है. मेरे घर वाले भी थोड़ी देर में ऑन कर ही रहे होंगे, लेकिन परेशान मत हो. एक आध दिन छूटने दो, सैटरडे को आराम से देखेंगे सब लोग मिलकर. Question number 30. Just do not worry, we'll have some more questions. I know we lost some of the points today and we lost some of the minutes, a lot of precious minutes today, but we certainly compensated for you, 100%. Which among the following statement is correct? NRIs can now cast votes in their home constituencies in India. NRIs can now cast votes in their home constituencies in India. The NRI can cast his vote by postal balloting. This is wrong. It is not still not by postal balloting. They have to be in the constituency to vote. It is postal balloting is only applicable for army people who are stationed on the foreign areas, on the foreign land. Correct answer is A. In the landmark move, which of these state governments has set up a Savarn Ayog, a commission to identify the deprived and underprivileged families among upper castes? It was very much in the news last year. कई लोगों को नहीं पता होगा, last year news में आया था because it was certainly a very novel idea for India. Correct answer is Bihar. Yes. So again a factual question, direct. Which of these countries announced $1 billion US aid for the reconstruction of Nalanda University? Now there was a confusion last year also. Singapore has organized a consortium of $1 billion, which is for Nalanda. Purpose in China had given $1 billion as US aid, $1 billion US as aid. So that is the point. Correct answer is China. But Singapore has also organized a consortium. So there is a confusion about this. So just do not be confused with this. China is the correct answer and Singapore would have been correct because of the, if China had not been the option. Then which of the following is the magazine by Rail? Rail वालों ने कौन सी मैगजीन निकालनी शुरू की है? Yes, PPTs will be available on careerlauncher.com/classapart. The correct answer is Rail Bandhu. And I tell you again, from the IRMA PPTs and from the IFT PPTs, some of the questions that we had taken are applicable for SNAP also. I tell you, revise some of the questions, not from the social concern, not from the foreign trade area, but just have a revision of those questions also. I tell you, all of you, a lot of questions in IFT especially can be important in SNAP also. So, थोड़ा रिवाइज कर लेना. Just give half an hour to each session. 3 sessions थे हमारे पास total 1.5 hours. That's it. Yes, Ajit, you cannot see the IRMA PPT solution. Yes, those solutions are not there. Well, good for reminding me. I'll get uploaded because they were not made earlier. It was on the request of the students that we made IFT PPTs and did the solution. Now for SNAP, you will find the solution as we end the session. Tomorrow again, you will find the solution. And so for IRMA, I'll arrange for you all in another 2-3 days. Just give me 2-3 days time. I'll arrange it for you on the web. Thanks for reminding. Then question number 34. Question number 34. The task force will be headed by ultimate beneficiaries of the petroleum working gas. Now, from the 1st January, it is going to be applicable. Yes. Nandan Nilekani is the answer. Nandan Nilekani is the answer. Which of the following country has been added to BRIC, Group of Emerging Economies? जो ना बता पाए चुल्लू में पानी में कूद मरो. अगर इसमें भी किसी को डाउट है, जरा हाथ उठाना. किसको डाउट है? हाँ, कई लोग अपना आंसर बदलने लगे हैं हाथ उठाने के लिए. ओके, फाइन, वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन. So you just get. So just get the quality of questions. Just get the quality of questions. Some of these questions can be easily answered, but of course you must be aware. कई लोग सोच रहे होंगे कि इजी हो जाता है क्वेश्चन. अगर आपके पास इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है तो क्वेश्चन मुश्किल हो जाता है एग्जाम में. आई टेल यू अगेन, वहां पे कंफर्म नहीं हो पाते, वहां पे लगता है कहीं -1 ना हो जाए, इसलिए ऐसे क्वेश्चन मार नहीं पाते आंसर. So just be aware of this. Such questions you have, any such question you have to be factually aware. Because following countries was the host of first Asian Yoga Championship held recently. Last year it was held in Thailand. It was held in Thailand. Who among the following has been defeated by Saina Nehwal, who has won the Swiss Open Grand Prix gold title recently, becoming the first Indian to do so? Yes, come on. Who among the following, now again point is, this is the last year question. I leave all of you for this question. अगर नहीं आता है कोई दिक्कत नहीं. This was the last year current update. Just do not worry. Correct answer was Ji Hyun Sung. Correct answer is Ji Hyun Sung. This is the last year question, so just do not worry about it. On March 6, 2011, the Supreme Court held that Dash has ample powers to enact legislation with respect to extraterritorial aspects for the security of India. President, Prime Minister, Supreme Court और Parliament. थोड़ा दिमाग लगाओ, किसके पास extraterritorial power aspects for the security of India होंगे? प्रेसिडेंट अकेले के पास हो सकते हैं क्या, या प्राइम मिनिस्टर अकेले के पास? कुछ आंसर में डाउट हो सकता है तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट, पार्लियामेंट में. लेकिन तो एक्स्ट्रा टेरिटोरियल एस्पेक्ट फॉर द सिक्योरिटी ऑफ इंडिया. एंड पॉइंट इज enact legislation. Who can enact legislation? Parliament can enact legislation. Supreme Court cannot enact legislation. Parliament has to enact legislation. So question was not very difficult if you read the question. Enact legislation, Parliament can. Yes, that was the key point here. Question number 39. Which country has appointed Brigadier General Ravinder Singh as its next army chief, the first Sikh in nearly 30 years to be given the forces baton? Yes. किस कंट्री में यार इंडिया मिल सकते हैं, खुद ही सोचो. फिर इंडियन हर कंट्री में मिल जाते हैं, इसमें कोई नहीं. मेरा गलत हिंट था. इंडियन हर कंट्री में मिल जाते हैं और खूब सारे मिल जाते हैं. बट हाई चांसेस कहाँ है, जहाँ थोड़ा डोमिनेटिंग भी है हल्के से. The correct answer is Singapore. And we know our favorite these days, Monty Panesar. Monty Panesar ने तो वैसे ही सांसें निकाली हुई है, पता नहीं कहाँ पे फेंकता है और कहाँ पे बाहर बॉल जा रही है. एंड मेरे हिसाब से आजकल ये जो सिख गॉड्स भी है, एंड सिख पंजाब में बहुत सारी टेंडेंसी रहती है लोगों को कनाडा और यूएस चले जाने की और यूके चले जाने की, और लगता है सिख गॉड्स भी चले गए हैं यूके. अब तो हरभजन सिंह की तो बात ही नहीं सुनते, बेचारे को विकेट लेने में पानी निकल गया. अब मॉन्टी पनेसर इतने विकेट निकाल रहा था एक बार. मोस्ट ऑफ अवर गॉड्स हैव even migrated to UK. What the point is, मोन्टी पनेसर की आवाज वहाँ पे लोग सुन रहे हैं, लेकिन हरभजन सिंह तो छोड़ ही दो. रहीम खान तो आज से नहीं, बहुत सालों से यूज लेता है. हरभजन सिंह भी हो गया है. सचिन तेंदुलकर got 100 today. Congratulations. अरे मेरी टीवी में 100 मार दिया, मेरी टीवी में 100 था. ओके फाइन. क्वेश्चन नंबर 40. Anant Pai, better known as Uncle Pai, who recently died, was the creator of which of the following comic series? Anant Pai, last year, Amar Chitra Katha. Anant Pai was the creator of Amar Chitra Katha. Yes, he was expired last year. यही तो क्वेश्चन का मतलब है. Okay, so these 40 questions were from Snap. Now I ask you, how many of you could answer around 15 to 20 correctly, after adjusting the negative marks? After adjusting the negative marks, how many of you could answer 20, 15 to 20? Yes, if 15 is the point, I would say, tell you, now again one point. In the exam, generally it becomes a bit difficult. So I would say your performance will be around 10 to 15% better in the sessions than in exams. क्योंकि एग्जाम में देखो, कहते हैं ना कि एग्जाम में थोड़ी लग जाती है, प्रेशर से लग जाती है. तो पॉइंट वही है कि वहां पे जब आप 2 आंसर लगातार मारोगे तो एक बार सोचोगे यार कहीं गलत हो गया तो माइनस हो जाएगा, तो इसलिए कई बार पॉइंट ऐसा दिमाग में आ जाता है. सो आई वुड से वट एवर योर मार्क्स आर हियर इन दीज 40 क्वेश्चंस, subtract around 15% marks from that. So if you get 20, I say your marks were actually 17. If you get 17, then they were close to 14.45, that is 14.5. Then of course it will be a good attempt. So these were the 40 questions from last year. In the next class we will discuss the fresh questions, and I assure you, the time we lost today, we will certainly make that up. And my idea was to give you more than 200 questions from the current, but now I think we will organize another session. We will have one more session, and we will try to have around 250 fresh questions for you, and we will certainly make it, our target is to get at least 8 to 10 questions directly in the paper. 8 to 10 directly questions from various resources. We have actually compiled a number of questions. So 8 to 10 certainly maza aayega, and 250 questions will certainly we will try, but I assure you 200. We may move up to 250. I will talk to the management at my office, and we'll try to arrange one more session in between if it's possible. I don't assure, but we'll try our level best. But still, even if we have just 2 sessions, we'll try to solve 100 questions each, 100%. We'll try our level best, but if we get 3 questions, we'll have enough time to solve those 200 to 250 questions. Well, I'm sorry again for the problem that had occurred today. because of this problem, we lost some of our precious time, and I would again apologize for that. But of course, we will try to keep up tomorrow. So, well, thank you for today. Thank you for your patience. I'll certainly will be for any query. I again repeat rajat.ken@federalanswer.com. जब भी मन करे तब आप मेल कर दीजिए. Just wait for some 24-48 hours. Reply आ जाएगा. Now I'm continuously in Delhi, so it will be easy for me because थोड़ा इधर उधर श्रीनगर and my hometown आना जाना. So there was a bit of so many times I replied late, but now your answers will be at here. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Yes, Mehrotra. Question number 1. Take question number 2. और प्रिंट स्क्रीन मार लो यार, जल्दी से तुरंत कॉपी हो जाएगा. ओके, क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. ऑल प्रिंट स्क्रीन मार लो जल्दी से. ऑल प्रिंट स्क्रीन मारो, पेंट खोलो, पेंट में कंट्रोल भी मारो, टेस्ट कर दो. Yes, question number 5 now. Yes, Curry, event end. ये इंडिया मेंबर तो है नहीं, बट उससे क्या फिर मनमोहन, अच्छा मनमोहन को now, India has got good status. It is included in G20 club. So point is that now the economy has globalized around the world. After the globalization, suppose you are market for anyone. So yes, India will never be a member, but it can go for an observer. Trying to do around the world is they are trying to get more and more economies, strong economies, so that it is mutually beneficial for them. So India will be attending every ASEAN summit or any of the summit in which even if it is not a member, it will be, इसलिए मैंने आपके अपने पास रखे थे. Okay, fine. Thank you very much, all of you. Bye bye.